Chief Meteorologist Rebecca Kopelman here, and going to just walk through the winter storm that's on the way to eastern Iowa. And after we have been through just quite the quiet winter, we are going to actually have some pretty strong a pretty strong storm come on through, and we've had a signal for some just winter showing up here and multiple systems that will be moving into the area as we go through the course of this week. The first one being, though, tomorrow, and we have issued a weather warn day. And all that means is that we're highlighting this day for the potential of some difficult travel. We've already seen some cities starting to put in some snow emergencies as they're preparing to have the plows out, and anticipating that we'll likely see quite a bit of closures in terms of schools and such. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I will just detail everything and hopefully answer all the questions here, but we'll kind of walk through things. So first and foremost, we do have a winter storm warning here that is in pink, and that is for areas that are in the south and east, where we have the potential for the heaviest snow. I was trying to get everybody in the picture there. There we go. Goes all across eastern Iowa, and this basically starts overnight around 3 a.m. or so. I don't want to get into the semantics of exact times of when each of these start, but regardless, overnight we'll start to see some snow, and immediately we could get into some pretty slick conditions. So it's going to be quite the stretch of snow that we're going to have, near constant snowfall throughout the day on Wednesday. So some of the things I wanted to highlight here is the fact that there could be some heavy snow, and that's why we do have those winter storm warnings in place, and that's certainly elevated. It's not area wide and it's not horribly heavy, but could have some close to 1 inch per hour snowfall rates at times. And we'll also have some very fluffy snow. So the snow could add up quite quickly. We're going to have a lot of the ingredients in place that will be very efficient for snowfall making. And we have just the moisture and the cold air that's going to create that fluffy snow. That being said, there will be some gusty winds around 20 miles per hour or so that will lead to the potential for some blowing and drifting. I don't think it's a necessarily huge issue, but certainly in open areas we could have some blowing and drifting happening because of that fluffy nature of the snow. And we will have some snow-covered streets. That's really the biggest issue here, is the fact that snow is going to be so persistent and at times quite heavy that will lead to the potential for some just snow-covered roads throughout the entirety of the day. So we're going to have the snow persisting and starting in the morning, continuing through the afternoon. Right now, we have some sunshine out there. Clouds are going to start to move back in, and we had a cold front pass through. That is important in terms of what's happening tomorrow, because the colder air moving in is going to create that fluffier snow, and the piece of energy is off to the south and west here that will be coming in, and we'll start to see a lot of this get filled in with the snowfall, and it moves in later on tonight. So the day today is going to be dry. Some clouds start to move in, and predictors showing snow happening pretty quickly. I don't know how necessarily fast we'll get into that snow, whether it be 1 a.m. I think closer to maybe 2 or 3 a.m. the snow starts in our southwestern counties and starts to lift to the north and east, and everyone's going to be locked into the snow by daybreak. Around 6, 7 a.m. we'll have some persistent light snowfall happening across the area. And overnight, as that snow starts, there should not be any issue in terms of accumulation. It'll happen quickly, and we'll have these slick roads happening, and then the snow will just continue to fall. As we get into the afternoon, there will be these pockets of some heavier snow and some higher snowfall rates. And there are some of these darker colors, and kind of see them over here into portions of Wisconsin as well. And there's going to be some periods of time with some heavier snowfall and some higher snowfall rates, particularly getting into the early afternoon and through the early evening. And around 5 p.m., we could still have some of those higher snowfall rates ongoing, some moderate to heavy snow, particularly in the southeastern part of the area, south of Highway 20. And the winds are going to be going, could have some of that blowing and drifting happening. And then the snow starts to back off as we head toward kind of the 8 to 10 p.m. hour as we go from west to east. So a very long period of snowfall. And just to kind of sum this up a little bit here, I'll use this graphic and we'll go through the times. But 7 a.m. going to have the snow falling. It continues through 12 and then through 5 o'clock. Still some snow covered streets, still snow coming down. And we're talking about a good stretch of 12 to maybe 14 hours of snowfall occurring. So that is what's going to lead to the snow adding up. And because we're going to have that fluffy snow, that colder air in place, and we're going to have these ingredients that will just lead to a lot of efficient snow being produced, or be really efficient snow being produced rather. And so up in the north and west, we're looking at 2 to 4 inches of accumulation where there's some drier air in place through Waterloo, Oelwein, Independence, McGregor, 4 to 6 inches there, and then cutting through areas like Tama and Dubuque, and then down to the south and east for Cedar Rapids, Monticello, Anamosa, Iowa City, Williamsburg, Washington, Riverside, Sigourney. We have through Cedar and Jones counties. We're going to have some Tipton, Tiffin, Coralville, North Liberty. I'll say as many cities as I can, but that's where we're looking at that range of 5 to 9 inches of snow, where there's going to be some of the heavier snow that occurs. And where any of these little bands set up, that's where we could have some heavier snow as well. So just something to keep in mind, that it's going to be a really efficient snow producer, this system, and it could add up rather quickly as we have some of those heavier bands of snow coming through. But it's also kind of this long game, because we're going to have snow for so many hours. It's going to be tough travel through the day. And in the morning, just because snow's on the lighter side, I have the yellow light, but I do think it's still going to be pretty difficult through the morning hours, as the snow is going to still be pretty persistent. And we tend to see the bulk of our crashes when we have less snow. I don't know if it's just underestimated, but we tend to just based on the data from the Iowa DOT, see the bulk of our crashes in basically an inch or less of snow. And this is going to be kind of what we'll be seeing in the morning. Initially, we'll have maybe a half an inch to an inch of snow by daybreak, and we'll have the slick streets and snow still falling. By midday and into the evening commute, some moderate to heavy snow showers, and that could be some low visibility, of course, the snow-covered roads and slick streets, but then on top of that, any wind leading to blowing and drifting can just continue to cause some slippery conditions on the roads. So all this being said, what do you do? And the first thing would be just not to panic or freak out about it. And I know that there's been a lot of chatter about this storm online, but at the end of the day, it's snow. It's not going to be anything that's going to trap us inside or anything like that. But I do anticipate there being quite a bit of change happening as we go through the day today, with some schools deciding to cancel, or just some churches maybe having to change plans, or events having to change plans. So definitely would anticipate changes in that respect. The one thing to do would be just to prepare. So if you need to check on your snowblower, I know there are probably lots of people who maybe not had to use a snowblower so far this winter. Charge the battery for your snowblower. If you need to get some ice melt, grab that. Get your supplies tonight or today, and then be prepared for tomorrow. I would say start adjusting those plans, and you want to prepare for the possibility of the cancellations happening. I think later this afternoon, we'll probably see a lot of schools come through and start to decide that they're going to cancel, and at least start delaying. But like, if you need to prepare for childcare or anything like that, then that would be the option to do. If you have the option to stay home, then that would be also great. And I would particularly avoid the afternoon, kind of midday hours into the afternoon, because that's when we'll see some of the higher snowfall rates and the heavier snow. If you have to go though, and I get it, because I'm going to have to go, lots of people are going to have to go into work, make sure that you do have an emergency kit in your car. And we're talking batteries and a flashlight and snacks and blankets and water and a phone charger, an external charger, to make sure that you're safe just in case something does happen. And drive slow and just stick to those main streets, because of how much snow is going to be falling and for how long it's going to be falling. You want to make sure that you are just staying on those main roads, where the roads are going to be treated more frequently, where crews are going to put their focus, because those side streets and the neighborhood roads, that's just going to be a bit longer before they can get to everything. So take it easy on the streets, take it slow, give yourself the extra time, give yourself the extra space. And that'd be my best advice to you on that. So just kind of a recap of everything here. We have the winter storm warnings. These go into effect later tonight and last through the day on Wednesday. Winter weather advisories have not yet been issued up here. I believe they will be. I'm not quite sure why they haven't been yet, but we'll see. And everyone's going to be getting in on some of the snow. We'll have snow starting off in the overnight hours, and by daybreak, widespread light snow going on, getting heavier through the afternoon. And just kind of another recap of the impacts here. Snow's already falling in the morning, moderate to heavy at times, snow-covered roads all day long, difficult travel all day long, and anticipate changes to your plans, school, and all that. In terms of the rest of the week, I did want to mention, as I talked about in the beginning there, that we have some wintry weather certainly setting up shop, that there's going to be another storm system here coming in on Friday, and we'll be watching the track of this one, but we will have the snow on the ground that will likely kind of keep that storm track nearby. So we'll have the snow coming through possibly Friday evening and into early Saturday, which could lead to some slick streets there. You can see that there's kind of that wintry mix nearby. So we'll have to watch the exact track to see if that warmer air sneaks a little further to the north, if that means we end up with some ice, or if it's all snow for the area. But that's one we'll have to keep an eye on. And there's a possibility there could be some more as we get into then Monday of next week as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in. We can always come back and check on them and answer any questions. But for now, we do have the snow coming in starting in the morning, lasting for several hours, and we will have the snow persisting through the day, amounting to 5 to 9 inches in a big area here down in the south. So hope you have a great day and take it easy, get all your supplies you need, take it slow, and we just got to watch the snowfall, and then we'll be able to move on as we head into Thursday, but watch that next storm then on Friday.